Hi everyone, this is Karan Ranger, and you are about to see a recording of the Power Rangers Q&A session that took place at AwesomeCon 2021. Enjoy the show. You're gonna love it.
Whatever you gentlemen and ladies would like to do up here on the stage. So this is...
I know, it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah, why are you guys standing behind
I gotta stand. I like the energy.
So guys, Austin started the trend.
I actually had to practice getting into these chairs because I'm short. So
That's funny.
I know, this is not for short girls.
No, it's not.
It is awesome to be back at AwesomeCon. Hey.
Yeah. I would say I could see you, but I'm blinded by the light.
Get it, John.
What are we doing?
So
This is your solo, your singing solo.
when I had a chance, I was looking through, like I said, I've interviewed Walter and Austin before, but when I realized that Johnny was going to be here, I was telling some of these folks out here, I'm a huge anime nerd. And it was like, so there's a reason you're sitting here. I'm very pleased to meet you. So with that said, you guys go ahead and cue yourselves up on the mic. But I want to start by having you tell me your audition stories. Because at the time, when this show got started, it was so different than the way we're doing things now. So let's go ahead and start with you, Austin. Tell me your audition story. Then we'll just work our way down the line.
I'm that lucky story you hear about in Hollywood. I wasn't an actor. I didn't know anything about acting at all, other than there were people that did it in Hollywood. That's what I knew about acting. I was actually in high school. I was teaching martial arts. I was doing martial arts every day. I played football. I was a high school kid with attitude, literally, 17 years old. And you laugh, but it's true. It's true. And I ended up meeting a acting coach who was like, you should come check out our acting classes. And I was like, I don't want to act. I don't like acting. I don't want anything to do with it. He's like, you can pick up some students for your dojo from my class. I was like, that makes sense. Long story short, he started bugging me about this audition. He goes, there's a show called Phantoms, and you should check it out. You should go do this audition. I'm telling you, you fit the bill, martial artist, young guy, attitude. I'm like, what are you trying to tell me? So I wouldn't do it. He bet me $20 that I wouldn't be wasting my time if I went to the audition. And I lost 20 bucks. 5 auditions later, here I am. I still owe him 20 bucks.
My story's a little different. I actually had gone to college and studied acting and got a degree in musical theater, so it's something I was pursuing. I traveled on cruise ships for 3 years and decided, I gotta give LA a shot. Let me get off these cruise ships, stop traveling the world, and get an agent in LA, so I did that. And I did some extra work on 90210. People tell me that they saw it every now and then, like, I saw you on 90210. I was an extra. I was the locker kid, right? It was crazy. So I got a call for Power Rangers. It was actually called Phantoms, like you mentioned. But I was on the way to go do Star Search. I was doing Headband Men Star Search as a singer. Lost my voice on the way there. And one of my group members had to sing the solo that I was supposed to sing. We lost. And on the way out there, I got a call from the agent saying, hey, there's an audition. They want to see you tomorrow. And I was like, I can't go because I'm doing this Star Search show. And they were like, so sounds like it was great opportunities. 40 episodes, they picked it up for a season. And I'm like, man, series regular, you know, they need you to do hip hop and dancing and martial arts. And I'm like, I could do all that. And I'm like, oh man. So I missed the audition and I lost on Star Search, kind of bummed out, got back in there, called me and said, hey, they still want to see you. So I went into the audition and they were like, you know, I did my sides and my acting part. I knew I had that down. I was like, okay, I got acting chops. Did that. They were like, that was great. So can you dance a little? So I did some dancing. Hey, working it out. Right?
Show it. That's nice. Very nice.
Right, see? And then when I did some martial arts, I did a little kata. They said, can you do any flips? There's not a lot of space in here, but can you show us something? So I did a back tuck, landed it. And they went, that was great. Now, can you do it all together? Oh, okay. All together, you want the martial arts, gymnastics, and, okay. So I did some punches, did some martial arts. I did a breakdancing flare where my legs go up in the air. I came down, I landed, did a couple of kicks, kind of stood up, did a backflip, and then bowed out. And they were like, yeah, we want to see you again tomorrow. So about 5 auditions later, and work with this guy, and we get Power Rangers.
That's awesome. Very good.
Our audition was completely different from that. The show was obviously already out, and a friend of mine told me about the audition, said that they were looking for people to be on Power Rangers. I think I was probably the only person who hadn't heard of the show. Had just graduated high school, so I was busy trying to get into college. And I was auditioning an actress. I'd been in the business since I was 12, so I was like, yeah, TV show, wow. And I was in Dallas, so it was great. I went, and there were thousands of people lined up. And I was like, oh my God, we're gonna be here all day. And I literally waited all day for 30 seconds in front of the casting agent, and I did a little monologue, and she said, you had to be a dancer, a gymnast, or a martial artist. I was a dancer. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna dance. And she says, okay, dance. And I go, well, I brought music. And she was like, we don't have a radio. Dance. And so you just had to hit it. So I hit it, and she goes, okay. So she was like, can you come back later this afternoon? And I was like, of course. And so I knew I had a callback at least. And she said they were going to be videotaping us for the producers, so I was super excited. And I thought, okay, there'll probably be 20 people. I show up, there's a couple hundred. So the 1,000 went to a couple hundred. It's still cool. I just sat there and waited for hours for my turn. And I went in, and this time they had a radio, and I got to really do my audition and do a 2-minute dance piece. And then, and back then, in the 90s, dancing was very athletic. So, I mean, I was rolling around the floor and jumping through the air and doing all this crazy stuff. And I think 2 days later, they called us early in the morning and said, can you go to LA tomorrow? And we want to fly you to meet the producers, and it'll be your final audition. I was just like, oh my God, yes. So I took 2 outfits, because she specifically said, you'll only be there overnight. And I was like, okay, cool. So I just brought something to audition in and something to wear the next day. And I get there, we literally auditioned for 3 hours, 4 hours. They just kept bringing us in and putting us in groups, and we went through this whole process. And by that evening, they sat everybody in the same room and said, you, and you get the part. And we were we're crying and hugging each other. And then we heard someone else crying, and it was the people who didn't get the part. It was terrible. I know, it was bad. And we found out that day we were on the show, and we, got the movie. We were going to get to do a movie, and we were just excited.
That's congratulations. Nailed it.
2 days turned into 7 years?
Yeah. It was a matter of 4 days, a week, that this whole thing took place.
Yeah, it just kept going.
Yeah.
And then we did wardrobe stuff, then we had to do some fight test stuff.
Yeah. We had no clothes.
There was no Target back then. You could just run down the street.
Well, we did. We went to Target to just we had to grab just essentials.
I had nothing.
We had one outfit.
I was sleeping in a pile of clothes.
Yeah.
I didn't have a blanket, a bed for the longest time. I went to
his
get paid
house.
forever.
Yeah, we had to wait weeks till we got paid, and
I didn't have a job before I was getting paid, so I just had literally the clothes that were in my suitcase that I was sleeping in.
Are you sleeping here? And I gave him a pillow and gave him a blanket.
There was actually 3 days where I had nothing to eat because there's no money. And I was dying, and she had called me up out of the blue. It was hey, what are you doing? I'm I'm hungry.
I was like, oh,
she was come over here and make a sandwich. Started making a sandwich.
Of course, I'm a girl, so all my whole family sent me money and they set me up. He got to eat.
Your audition story, how did it go then?
Well, I went to a ninja competition with my friends from high school, Stone Canyon. And, oh wait, that's the show, sorry. No, the real one. Okay, so it's actually very similar to hers. I was in Texas, studied Shaolin Kung Fu. My martial arts instructor was reading the paper, and he's like, hey, they're looking for new Power Rangers. And he said, I think you should give it a shot. And I was like, what is this, stunt people? He's like, I don't know, just new Rangers. And it said in there you had to be a dancer or a martial artist or a gymnast. And I couldn't dance, but I could do martial arts and I could flip. So he helped me put together a routine, and it was basically the same thing. I went there, and it was like, it felt like thousands of people. I remember walking down the thing thinking, dude, I'm not getting into this, but I'm glad I'm here to try it. And I remember a guy with his legs sticking up, like martial arts kick with like a Jackie Chan movie. And then later, that would be Steve Cardenas. It was this guy with his legs sticking up, showing off. And then, so I get to the back of the line, and then, they call us in one by one. They like 20 at a time, then they go, you, get back in line, the rest of you go home. And so at first it's like looks, and then they would bring us in and ask us to do whatever it is that we could do physically, and then I got a monologue. And then I had like, because I knew how to do martial arts, so I did all the flipping stuff or whatever, and they were like angry guys there, and then one lady, what was her name? I can't remember her name.
Katie Wong.
Yes. And she was just so French. She's like a smile on her face. She was like a mom figure. Everyone else was just like, did not want to be there. And so I would just do my flips and kicks and just look at her and smile, because that's all I got from her. And I was like, that's cool. These guys are. And she was beautiful. She was too, right? So I was like, kind of like, we got to show off. Got to impress her. So I did that. Then I had to come back. Oh, and I had my like martial arts pants on. So I went after I got the monologue. I thought I was only going to be doing this little bit of monologue. And so I went, and that was back in the days in tight pants in Texas. And so I came back with jeans on, walking through the mall, memorizing this thing. And then I went back to my audition. I read the thing, and they were like, "Can we see more of that martial arts stuff?" And I was like, yeah, sure. And I'd never done it in tight jeans before. I swear, my kicks were like this, And again, I just looked at Katie, I just smiled. I was still able to get my flips and everything, but I was just winging it. I was like, I blew it. And then, what was it, like maybe I felt like weeks. Because I went to register and I went to college. I was like, it was all in the same week? Okay, because I had gone off to college. And I was in the dorm room with some strange dude, like he was moping around, and I get a call from my brother. And my brother's like, hey, they want you to come to California to do another audition. And I was like, if you're joking, I'm gonna kill you. And he's like, no, seriously. He could. Yeah, and I was like, all right, I'm done, let's go. Because I didn't want to be next to this guy. It was just like sad about life, and it was miserable. So I couldn't wait, it was exciting. And then we went, and it was like, I remember going there for the final audition, and it's like all these Asian dudes, like a bunch of them, and then some Hispanic dudes, and some African American females, and I was like, well, I'm definitely in that line. And I was like, why are there and there were so many Asian dudes in there. I was like, I got a lot more dudes to compete against. But then they would mix and match us. In fact, I found the old script just the other day, cleaning out my studio. Yeah, I should post it. It was like new black, and then that's when I found out, I was like, wait a minute, are we actually replacing?
Yeah, we had no idea.
That was like when we found out, it was like, wait, are we replacing, or is this like a new, we didn't really know. And so they mixed and matched us. And long story short, yeah. But I do remember, the other thing was like, and I can't remember, he sat us all down, right? And I think it was maybe individually. And he puts down this contract, and it was like a phone book. Right in front of you is Haim Saban and then his lawyers, and you're just like like me, I was just like a kid. I'm like, what is this, a contract? Oh, and he's like, yeah, 5 years. I was like, do you want to, oh, this is what he said to me. He's like, you are going to make me millions.
That sounds like Haim.
You're going to make me millions, and you make some money. And I was like, oh, and I didn't know what that meant, right? And he's like, are you okay with that? I was like, sure. He's like, sign here. And the lawyers took over, and I was like, just sign stuff. I was like, yeah, all right.
Never do that again.
Yeah, won't do that again.
Won't do that again.
Won't do that again.
When you see words like forever and perpetuity throughout the universe, run.
Right, so you see these toys with our faces on them now, new ones that come out, it's like, oh wow. That's why he's a billionaire. And I made some money.
Did you ever have to start with Tadashi? He was doing like all the rising sun stunts, like he was the big dog. Like that's how we got tested. You remember that? He was an 8th dan Wateroo, like I had a 2nd dan. And I remember the sparring when they set us up there, and I can remember Strath Hamilton, the director, was like, hey, listen, I'm gonna need you to spar with Tadashi here, and he's gonna let me know if you've got what it takes. I was like,
an actual spar?
Yeah, we had to spar. They rented out a whole gym. and it was just rugs.
Yeah, it wasn't like underground pocket for us, like the Kumite.
No, it wasn't a Kumite. But they brought us in, and I can just remember, I wasn't even 18 yet. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna let you to spar with him. And all of us did. And he's gonna let us know if you got what it takes. And I was like, he's an 8th Dan. Like, I thought I was gonna die. I thought he was gonna kill me. And he was like an angry hobbit, but he was doing all the stunts for the Rising Sun and all the big movies at the time. And I was terrified, but I sparred with him, and I guess it worked.
There was one point in that sparring situation though where where he actually got hit because there was I guess you had to swing on him and you caught him, and he got hit, flipped across the floor, and then stood up. He stood up like.
I thought I was gonna die.
Like the villain coming back.
It was like, oh my God, he's about to kill him. And we were all like, oh, and he looked, his face kind of looked like, oh shit, I'm sorry. And he was like, and he kind of gave him a look, like, keep going, go. And so they walked up and they start sparring again.
Started circling. We picked up right where we left off.
He picked up right where we left off, and it was intense. And everybody, afterwards it's done, everybody was like, yeah! Oh, man!
So if you didn't pee your pants, you got the part.
Okay, I wanted to though. I'll tell you what, it was one of those things where while we choreographed this fight, there was this one section where we were tight, like close, and he wanted this full power reverse crescent. And I had been pulling the speed off of it because I knew I was gonna kick him if I did it. So all these practice times, all the choreography, I kept pulling in, and it was still quick, but I was pulling it. And we got into the final audition in that big room, and he was like, faster, and he was grunting at me while we started the choreography. And pressure, scared, all the heat from all these guys in suits that looked important, and there was people from Fox, and I went faster, and I caught him square upside his head, but only he could make it look good. Like it turned into this swan dive, and just like Walt said, he got up, and he looked at me, and I was like, he's going to eat me for breakfast right now. I was terrified. And he came back in, and he telegraphed to let me know we were going to pick up right where we left off, I hope. And we hammered that thing. Everybody, when it was done, standing, that's the best fight we've seen all day. It looks so real. I was like, it was. It was. Can you send me out to the hallway with security? Because I think he still might kill me.
If you guys have questions, do line up at the mic. I'll make sure to include you in the conversation. I want to ask about the moment you got the outfit. You got the costume. When you put it on, you look at yourself in the mirror, you're like, yes. What was your, okay, you go first, Austin, because you look like I took you back someplace special.
All right, guys and girls, at 18, how secure are you with your whole physical appearance?
At 40, how secure are you?
At 40, okay. So, I'm not a fan of red to begin with, or wasn't. And they showed me this spandex thing that before you put it on, it was like that big around. And they were like, yeah, just put it on. I was like, I really don't want to wear this. I don't want to wear this at all. But then I put it on, I was like, damn. Okay. Look, there's my abs. Look at these quads. I'm like, oh, okay. And then you notice the bits and pieces that are also out there. And so you remember, I was 18. I was like, my mom always said I should cover these things up, And so then, they came up with you guys remember all the compression underwear and they're like, oh, we need you to put on these ballet pants. And I'm like, ballet pants? What are you trying to do to me? But I was very insecure, but I also thought it was amazing.
I remember when they brought us to the wardrobe room. They were like, we got your costumes in the wardrobe room. So we're like, all right, this is exciting. So we walk in. I think I was the first to walk in. And I look in and I see the Red Ranger costume. And I'm like, oh, that's dope. But I see the Black Ranger costume. I want this one. And they said, that's yours. I was like, yes. All right. So, because I was like, I always wear black anyway. I was like, I like wearing black, and it was bonus. And I remember putting it on. And same thing, it's like you kind of lose some of your modesty because you're like, oh, well, this is all me. Hey, how you guys doing? All right, cool. And I remember specifically that when we were wearing the costumes and we were doing martial arts or fighting or whatever, there were those times where you had lunch and you were drinking too much water or something, and it became evident. And it was like, okay, somebody get me out of here. Because you couldn't unzip it. It had to be unzipped from the back, and my arm was like...
Guys, we can't reach that. We're not designed to reach that far. And I can't tell you how many times we almost became the Yellow Ranger.
What was your story? What do you got?
It would have been orange. Okay, he's being technical.
Same thing. Like I mean, obviously after we figured out we got on the show, I went and watched as many episodes as possible, and I was just like, why do we have to wear this? Like this is, like you literally feel like you're naked, and yeah, we had like little little bodysuit, held it all together. But it was the worst. I mean, I always felt like we were naked, and they would give us robes, and we'd be robed, and then when we had to take it off, we'd take it off. And,
We didn't get any robes.
but yeah. Well, the girls, they always gave the girls extras. Like we always got robes. We were always cold, and
Girls had different issues.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we had so many issues. Like literally every day in front of the whole crew on the walkie, they'd be like, "Karen needs Band-Aids. Karen needs Band-Aids," and so you know what that meant. I was cold. That's what it was like.
Outstanding.
Yeah, you had to let go of all of that because you're on a TV show and you can't be modest and
At all.
at all.
Well, I remember going there to the stage and walking in, and they had the monsters of the previous season just up around, in the entrance. And then you go in and you're like, holy cow, I'm here. This is it. This is the Power Rangers set. And I sign in, and then you go down the hall, and it turned into wardrobe, and you could smell like the laundry they're cleaning, and then there's a rack of clothes. So this is the first fitting for me. So I go in there, and I look, and it's like all this Black Ranger stuff. I'm like, oh, sweet. And here's your suit. Oh, awesome. And I pick it up, and I look at it, and there's a tag. It says Walter Jones.
We had the exact same suit.
Oh, okay. So this is mine? Or, yeah, that's yours. It's like, oh, okay. And so then I slide it on, and it's baggy. And so they have to build muscle suits.
They did it for Steve, for me.
Yeah, they needed muscle suits.
So that we could fit into your guys' stuff. Because we were like toothpicks compared to you guys. But,
The more you know.
Yeah. I was too short. I had to wear tweez boots, and her foot I think was a size 7. I was like a size 6. And they were like, okay, put 3 pairs of socks on and you'll be good. And I'm like, okay. We got nothing special. We just wore what you guys left us.
we got the hand-me-downs.
You made it through. You powered through somehow. We have a question right over here.
But you wore well. You guys wore well.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jason from New York.
What up, Jason?
What up?
So, after the boom that the series took, even after you guys left, did it make you guys want to explore the origins of this, go and watch the Sentai versions? Or did you guys just never even think of touching that? This was just a job for you guys?
They kind of told us right up front. I think we got a 15-second, maybe a 30-second clip. And we didn't even see the real actors. They're like, this show came from Japan, and I saw the Red Ranger doing Red Ranger stuff. And they were like, and that's what you're going to be picking up. The rest you got to make yours. It's all yours. And I never, to this day, I haven't seen the Sentai footage, but I've met Yuta and the original cast from the Sentai series. And they're incredible. And hearing some of their stories was like the first Power Morphicon in California, or I don't know, number 14. It was incredible. But I haven't seen a whole lot. Although Walter's got some stories about how dark the Sentai series is. I'm gonna let him tell those.
I'm not talking about it. But no, yeah, we didn't really see much of the series, the Sentai series, before while we were doing the show. After we were on the show, we were so busy, I didn't have time to watch my own episodes. It was like, we were working sometimes 16-hour days. So, be on the set at 6 a.m. in the morning. And depending on where you live, you had to drive at 5:30, 5 o'clock, get there, wardrobe, everything else, do your whole day, get off at 7 or 8, and then you had to go home and remember, learn your lines for the next day. So it was trying to watch it on VHS and hope your roommates didn't tape over it on something else. It was weird. It was hard to do it, and we didn't have a lot of time. I think they had some of the Sentai footage at Saban or at the set, and I think one day I kind of went in there and threw a tape in and kind of looked at it, but I didn't really get into it, but we did get to meet the Sentai actors, and that was a great honor because they're amazing. I mean, the show ran for 20 years there, so you know, between the two of us, between them and us, we got 50 years of Power Rangers, which is kind of crazy, and we thank you for that. So thank you guys.
Amen.
That's a great question. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go to the next person over here, and then I'll come to you. I'll ping pong back and forth.
How's it going? I'm Tim from Alexandria.
Hello, Tim.
And got a two-part question. First, I want to thank you all for coming to AwesomeCon, and it's been forever since we've been able to get together. And did you guys have a favorite moment or episode from the show? And my second part is, do you guys get like time when you go to the conventions to see the sights and everything?
Not always. I mean, it's so funny. We kind of have a running joke that we like go to the hotel, go to the convention center, and then we go to dinner. Like dinner is the big outing of the night. And then you're exhausted because you've been here all day. And we literally just see the airport and the convention center. But like cities like this, like, I mean, I love DC, and I love to get away and try to walk around and I'm a total tourist when I come here. I'm taking pictures of the same monuments I've taken since I was 12. But yeah, we don't get to get out that much, but we love it. And as far as like favorite episode or favorite moment, I mean, I think anytime we got to be something different or got to like, you know, because we were always the teenage version, you know, so it was like, I think the Wild Wild West episode always jumps in my mind, because at that point, the whole cast, we got to like have accents and be a different character that was, you know, related to us, but it was a different character than our original character, so that was fun, but yeah.
That's a great question. Thank you.
DC is kind of my old stomping grounds, so I cut my teeth as a medic in this area. So 16 years, I responded over to the Pentagon, so there's a lot of memories for me here. This is Northern Virginia, DC is my hometown, so.
Yeah,
I want to know if you could still get like female body inspector shirts, or if those are like, no. The last time I was here, like in DC, like it is, you go around and they cut me off because I'm talking about. Come on.
That's a no.
You said no, Johnny.
Tell me no. The government. No, like you walk around, right? And then I remember picking up a couple of these FBI things, and one of the things on like the cut was like female body inspector. I was like, huh. But now I wonder if you could, like, if they still sell that.
Do you want that shirt?
No, I don't. But I did walk around with my FBI beanie that I bought, and I was walking around like the White House and to see security, and they would give me a look, because I also had like this jacket that looked like an FBI agent jacket on, like a windbreaker. I know, right? I know. But they were like, they'd do like a head nod thing, and I would be like, and then, no joke, I would do that, right? I'd head nod back, and then I'd go, I'd act like I'm saying something, and just to see, and they were just like, you know, I don't know, I did that. My wife was really annoyed. But that was doing it.
She's like, he's not one. He's taking this way too far.
Yong Bosch is on a hit list for the government somewhere right now.
Somebody's got his name.
This was years ago.
Let's go over here. You've got a question.
Hello, my name is Greg, and I'm from Massachusetts.
What's up, Greg?
My question is for Johnny. Do you remember the Power Rangers Zeo episode called "It Came from Angel Grove"?
I do, yes.
Yeah.
The Halloween one, yeah.
Yeah, the Halloween
the
one.
nightmare that happened.
I'm impressed.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Austin.
I'm impressed by this. Give these guys a hand for signing this whole time.
Guys, you're so talented.
Gets a got 10 show. Yeah, see. There's like, oh, come on.
How many languages can we start speaking in?
I'm sorry, you had a question about it?
Yes. Hey, Austin. It's too bad that you weren't there at the time when Johnny was in that episode. I mean, would it have been cool to see you as one of the characters in that nightmare that Adam had? Maybe you could have been one of the other, a monster, or maybe just some a village person or whatever.
Yeah, village. He'd be the village idiot. Village drunkard.
I'll be the village idiot. I'm good with that.
Thank you very much for your question. Thank you.
I know, that's the part that sucks. We all never got to work together.
I know.
We hate that. Oh yeah, you did. You worked on the movie.
Let's be honest, we worked on Zio for a little bit.
And the second movie, Gold Ranger. Yeah.
Let's go ahead and go over here to you. Hi.
Hi, my name is Paula Code.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, Bob.
Hi. I'm from around here. I was wondering what you do with, it's a two-part, what do you do with all your fan gifts? And, any strange fan encounters?
Paula, you tried to start something, Paula.
Super interesting question though, right? Like,
I
what's
have
the
like
weird stuff?
drawers and walls covered with like art.
Me too.
Fans.
You guys, there's so much art that comes from you guys. It's pretty incredible. We've got it all. I have it in my house. I have a whole office covered in stuff, and it's pretty awesome.
I have like a 12-foot quilt that has like a bunch of anime and Power Rangers stuff on it.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
I had somebody crochet or knit. I'm not sure which it was. Forgive me, but like handmade this huge blanket full of Power Ranger stuff, and I was just talent I don't have, crocheting or knitting. I don't know, but we've had some weird encounters. Which ones do we want to talk about?
We don't want to give anybody ideas.
That's true.
ideas.
All right. I'll
Not
tell-
do what these fans did.
I remember
one story.
getting panties in the mail from on set. Like when you would get the box of fan mail, and they would check ours. They would open our mail, but this one they didn't open. I was like, oh, what's in here? And sure enough, it was like panties. I was like, how did that happen? With a picture.
Yeah.
Really
Angel
weird.
and I had a steady stream of jail mail.
Right.
Oh, jail mail.
We were
I have
so
jail mail.
popular.
You know it's jail mail because it's in pencil and
Yeah.
their inmate numbers written on the
Yeah.
outside.
And
I was
it's
on
like-
TV for 20 years.
Yeah, and it's like stamped, like from the jail, and they would obviously read all of it. But yeah, it was some interesting letters from the guys.
Especially when they're like, here's what I'm getting out. I'm like, I don't want to know that. I don't care what you're getting out.
I don't want to know.
We got to sign some interesting
Places.
parts of people.
Babies.
And no, we're not going to do it again. Butts. And I was like the last one on a long list of like 5 of y'all.
And we
I got the
quadruple
lowest.
charge.
I got the lowest real estate on the butt
You got
tops.
no zone.
We're on the bottom part.
Y'all
like
all
the
signed
round,
before me.
like the, yeah,
So they like started at the hips all the way down, and I got like sunshine. And I signed that thing like Zorro all across, and then I went and got a tattoo. I was like, why do you want our names on your butt forever? Who are you gonna sell it to? What's wrong with you? Well, let me see your monograph. That's what it was. I was like, that's.
I wouldn't have believed it. Only way I believed it that he was gonna really go tattoo it was because Walter and David had signed the year before, and they had the top part of the button, me and Walter had the bottom part. It was so bad. We like quadruple charged this person. Like our agent was like, "You're kidding me."
And then I threw the pen away.
Yeah, threw the
that one's
Sharpie
done.
away. He paid like 5 times the price. I don't know, and still wanted it. And his kids were with him. His kids were standing there with him. Yeah.
We're trying to talk him out of it. We're like,
We're
listen.
like, dude, it's like, don't do this.
Like, and my name is long. Like, we're talking about butt cheeks. Like this, I literally Zorro'd that stuff all across. I was like, you want it, you're gonna have it. Right across both cheeks. And never did. Never did.
It's worse when they tell you because then you get nervous. You're like, oh man, oh that's crooked. A little slower.
There you go. That's a very good answer to that question right there. Thank you.
Thank you.
All I was thinking was, please don't pass gas.
Oh. Go ahead.
Hi, how's it going? I'm Will.
What up,
My inner 5-year-old is freaking out because I'm talking to the Power Rangers right now. Oh my god, this is great. I'm really impressed with the camaraderie you guys have, despite kind of coming from different eras of the show. Is that camaraderie with also kind of like the further series, the series that followed? What's your Power Ranger to Johnny, like Johnny did to the FBI guy, you kind of give the nod to fellow Power Rangers actors?
Yeah, it's like we're like family, you know. And once we do a lot of these conventions together, we get to hang out more, we know each other more. Yeah, pretty much everyone is cool with each other. There's like 1 or 2 black sheep, but you know.
1 or 2 haters in the bunch. There's always a pooper in the party, right?
In every family.
We're not the poopers.
We're pretty happy, easy to get along with. We love everybody.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that we all have in common as Rangers is the fact that we have amazing fans like you, and we all know what that feels like. So that's something that brings us all together. And whenever we're together, we almost did we're planning to do a project together called The Order, and we got to working together on that, and that was really cool because I had never worked with Johnny or Karen on film. As we were rehearsing and getting together, it was like really cool to see how talented everybody was. It was like, oh man, you can do that? That's cool. I can do this. Okay, let's put it together. You know, like the things we can do together because there's so many talented people within the Power Rangers universe as far as the cast is concerned. It's really cool to know everybody.
It's amazing what you can do with open-minded creativity, and that's what we represent, I think, from all the casts. Open-minded creativity.
It's the staying power of the show. Great question. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I'm going to stay over on this side because this is where the longer line is queued up. So from now on, if you want to ask a question, just get in line over there so we can try to get to as many of them as possible. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Mark from Baltimore, Maryland. My inner fanboy is also freaking out, but I'm not going to say how old I was when Power Rangers started. First off, thank you to all of you for the part you played in taking Japanese Super Sentai and turning it into a worldwide Power Rangers phenomenon. It's amazing. I actually have a question for Walter. So we were treated to a little bit of Johnny singing at the beginning of the event here, and you mentioned that you had lost your voice going into a competition, and I was curious if you might be willing to share a little bit of what your piece was.
The piece? Oh,
yes.
Wow. Me. You know, I was doing Michael Jackson. I was like, oh, baby, give me one more chance. That was him. Give me one more chance. There you go. Hey, man. You got the tenor, the high tenor. I used to have the high tenor. Things have changed.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Walter can sing though. I've heard him sing.
Oh yeah, he does a mean karaoke.
He's good.
Mustang salad.
How's it going, everyone?
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm Brandon from Baltimore, Maryland as well. I want to say two things. Number one, thank you. And number two, is life treating you good?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely. We're blessed, man. We're blessed and aware. That's what I like to say, you know. I think one of the things that's most important to do is to count your blessings. And we have a lot of blessings to count. So, and again, it's like being here, being out, being together, and being alive. We're all happy.
Thank you.
I love that. Come on up, get your question in.
Yeah, this is Alex from Alexandria, Virginia.
So Alex.
Hey. So I also got a question. I know you work to 16-hour days, but when you did you get a break in between work, and how much time did you get off, in between working on movies?
Lunch.
Sometimes
rush.
Did you have a time where you weren't doing movies and you just had some days where you were off? And
like a hiatus?
How long was it?
We got our first hiatus at the end of the entire year. 2 to 3 episodes a week for a full year. We got Sunday off because we filmed Monday through Friday. Saturday was ADR, where we'd go in and do the audio digital recording over the costume footage, and then Sunday was the day. That was it. And then he gave us a week for Christmas after the end of the first year.
Just a week for Christmas after
That was it. That's when I figured out we were famous.
Yeah.
I went to the mall. That was a mistake.
Yeah, it was the marker for me. It's like TV guy, Disney's Adventures. It was that's me. Yo,
we're on a TV guide. Y'all even know what that is?
Yes.
You guys are old.
What's TV guide?
TV guy.
Thank you. All right, come on up, get your question in.
My name is Phil DiMaggio. I'm from Calvert County, Maryland. What do you think your character's favorite philosopher would have been, and why?
Oh, gosh. Wow. Phil, you're making us think this morning.
You know what my favorite turnaround is? Well, what do you think?
What do you think my character would say? I don't know. All I know is Socrates. Well, I'm going to go Socrates because that's the only one.
Man, that's tricky. very Chinese. So, it'd probably be Confucius.
I think for me it would have been Sun Tzu.
Mine would have been Beyonce. Aisha, Beyonce, makes sense.
Going back to your crush days.
I would probably say mine would probably just be from the Bible. Jesus, treat those, treat others the way you want to be treated, more or less.
Thank you.
That's why everybody loves Zack.
Come on up.
Hello, my name is Michael from PG County, Maryland.
Yeah, bro.
I have a question to ask you guys. If someone would ask you what was your favorite monster that you fought, and yours would be, what would that be?
I like the putties. Putties.
I like the ooze guys. The ooze guys, I like recently. Ivan and his minions. Like I saw a piece of the movie recently and I was like, oh my god, that was like so cool. So yeah.
I had to fight the Nasty Knight. He was pretty cool. That was good. That was fun.
He was
I
nasty.
think for me, like Jason fought Goldar, like that was his regular job. Rangers! And I was like, I hear that in my sleep 30 years later. It would have to be Goldar.
That's a great question. Thank you. Come on up.
We thought you said Jason Font.
Font, and I was like, what does he have to do with Goldar? But it was, you said Jason Font, Goldar.
No.
Leave it to your friends to throw you under the bus on that stage. All right? That's what it is. I got it.
Please interrupt. I'm coming from Alexandria, Virginia as well.
Whatever.
Specifically, my question is for you, Walter. I break, and I just wanted to know, like, what your history of your dance training is.
You know what? I started dancing when I was a kid, like 4 years old or whatever. I was inspired by Michael Jackson. So I remember we had a birthday party for one of my cousins, and everybody was dancing, and I was looking at everybody dance, and I told my grandma, I said, I want to go dance. And she said, go on out there, baby, go. Do your thing. And I went out there and I started doing Michael Jackson, and everybody stopped and was like, yo, you're doing Michael Jackson. At that point, I fell in love with dancing because I was like, people love when I do stuff. And so as I got older, I did pop locking when I was in high school, and then breakdancing came out, and I had the cardboard out in the front yard, and me and my neighborhood would go against other neighborhoods, and we would breakdance. And I was never the best breakdancer, but I had a few special moves I could do. I had like a couple of things I'll pull out, the flare, right? So I'll do something like that, and everybody would be like, oh, that's crazy, And I'd give up like, yeah, that's right. So I'd repeat that move like, So I did that, and after I did breakdancing, and I went to college and I studied jazz, tap, ballet, modern, and now I dance Latin. So I do salsa, bachata, kizomba, zouk, merengue, cha-cha. I love dancing.
And he always leaves out the part where he's a legitimate world champion salsa dancer. Legit.
Thank you.
Like, oops, that slipped my mind.
There's 3 more people on this side, and then I'll come to you, and if we have time, I can see you guys queuing up. Go ahead, get your question in.
Love your dress.
Yep.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
I'm Laura. I'm from Fairfax, Virginia, and I'm genuinely freaking out right now. It's my first ever convention, period, and the fact that you guys are here, I just wanted to bring up to Johnny. For me, growing up, I was 10 when Power Rangers was on, and your episode Mirror of Regret had a huge impact on me. The fact to see a superhero fighting with their own self-esteem and confidence, and for someone like me, even now to this day, I still have self-esteem challenges. It had a massive impact on me as a 10-year-old, and also for Karen and Walter, seeing you guys on screen. This Power Rangers was the first live-action show I watched. Before that, it was like Disney stuff and cartoons. So just in the past year, with everything that happened with Black Lives Matter, I didn't really fully get the impact of seeing you guys on my screen as a 10-year-old. And so I really just want to say thank you guys for this.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, Power Rangers was like ahead of its time. Like that's one thing I always give them props, because back then, I mean, literally every kid got someone who looked like them, and representation is such a huge thing, and we weren't just the friend, or we were actually superheroes, and we actually saved the day. And I mean, we were girl power before girl power was even popular. So I always give Power Rangers credit for being ahead of its time. Even today, the cast was multicultural, and I think that that's why it's been around for so long, because kids just identify with people that they know and people that they see that look like them. It's powerful.
And even more important, it showed that the diversity of friendship and ethnicities could be friends. You know, it's like a lot of people. I had a kid email me or send me a letter, and he was like, well, in my neighborhood I grew up, I didn't really know any people that were people of color. I didn't have any friends, and my friends were playing, and they all picked Rangers, and I ended up being you, and I was mad. I didn't want to be the Black Ranger, but then I started watching your character, and you danced, and you were cool, you were charismatic, so I started digging it, and I now started taking dance classes, and now I'm surrounded by these friends that I'm so glad I met, because outside of that, I've never been motivated to do so. So, yeah, I love that too.
You're a part of that story. I mean, you talked about self-esteem and courage, and yet here you stand speaking your mind.
Absolutely.
There's something to be said for that. Give them a round of applause.
Awesome. Come on up.
Hello, I'm Madison. I'm from Fairfax. I just wanted to say that I grew up watching you, so this is crazy. But I wanted to ask about your background in martial arts and how you got involved in it, if you still are involved with it.
I started when I was 5 years old. My father was heavy into Kenpo, so the Parker style Kenpo broke down with the Dave German, and then Ray Schneider, who was under German, who was under Parker, taught my father and I, and that was my first martial arts lessons at home. My first official dojo was a judo dojo, and I was 5. My father had gone off to war, and that's where he stuck me when he left. And they wouldn't speak English to me. I was the only round eye in the class, and I remember that's where I had to start learning Japanese, and that's where I think I began to learn some of the first lessons in the arts, which was there's a million reasons to quit, there's a million reasons not to try, there's a million reasons to say it's too tough. But you can be the only reason that you have every day to keep going, and that's what I started doing at age 5. And I've been through probably 23 systems at various levels my entire life. I still occasionally, I'll get together, there's a martial arts studio in Ohio, and we go do master seminars, and we get, Grandmaster Cooper, 10th dons all the way down to first degrees, and we do knowledge sharing. So we'll teach anybody from Grandmaster on down to the ground in whatever it is each of us specialize in. And then we all close the doors at the end of the night and we train with each other. And usually we leave each other bleeding a little bit, but you know, that's some of the senior level stuff. Always, of course, with discipline and self-control. But you know, if you haven't started in the martial arts and you want to, just do it. Just do it. Period.
I started doing martial arts at, I think 11. I think my cousin started, he'd been bullied in his neighborhood, and he was a martial artist and winning karate trophies for katas and competition. So I jumped into it, kind of for the same reason, and got a brown belt in Ishiru karate. Then decided I just wanted to be a teenager and went off and did other things, but it was the skills that got me to Power Rangers. And when I got to Power Rangers, I started learning from all the stunt guys and different other people, Austin and so forth. And being a dancer, I had the ability to pick up on things really quickly. So like I could do the techniques, the punches and the kicks and the more difficult stuff. I could do all that. And I learned a lot. I mean, I studied like from Thai boxing to Taekwondo to Wushu, and like, all these different guys were amazing and would teach me things. Then when I left the show, I wanted to be belted. I wanted a belt, so I studied Aikido for a number of years, and I obtained a black belt doing that. So that's my martial arts training.
Nice. Wow. I had no martial arts training. I was a dancer, so luckily for me, like I said back then in the 90s, dancing was very athletic. So they would always say, put some kicks and punches. When I auditioned, I did that. But the stunt team was amazing, and they would literally teach it to me like a dance. And I would learn part by part, and they would teach me how to kick properly so that, you know, you get a higher kick and you don't hurt yourself and things like that. But I always credit the stunt team because they really worked with me, because I didn't want to be the one who, like, that girl doesn't know and everyone else is really trained, so I just worked with them, but they were amazing.
Before the show, it was Shaolin Kung Fu, and then after, kind of like the guys, I just went off and tried everything. Bit of JKD, Hapkido. Currently, I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, a lot of stick and knife, Balinta walk. I like Filipino martial arts, but I'm kind of all across the board.
So the answer is yes. Thank you. So let's do rapid fire, because I think we can get to everyone in the remaining few minutes that we have. So go ahead.
Hello, my name is Margaret and I'm from Baltimore.
Hi, Margaret.
First of all, I would like to thank you for coming and sharing the stories here with all of us. Therefore, I would like to ask for the funniest moment story that happened to you on the set that was exciting and make you laugh and maybe make the whole crew laugh.
Has one come to mind?
Well, it didn't happen to me. I was thinking of Ben. Jason, Rick, and Johnny kept like running up this tree and like turning backflips, and he was supposed to spot Jason.
Okay, now hang on a second. That's not the way the story goes. Hang on. All right. We're working on the movie in Australia, and there's this like palm tree. It's got like, it's almost like steps, but it's curved up, right? And so Jason and I, we were just training because we were bored. And so we were in our civvies, so we were in our civilian wardrobe for the movie. And they're setting up lights. It takes forever. So you're just waiting around forever, hours. And so we're doing backflips off this tree. And his technique would be like, he would take 3 steps, and then he would backflip. And so I'd be there just in case, right? So he takes 3 steps. I'm right here.
He did it 1,000 times.
Right, yeah. We're doing this over and over. And me, I would run, and I would just bounce off like a frog. I'm a frog. So I would bounce off the tree, and he'd be the spot me, and I'd spot him. And then I'm standing there, you know, the tree's here, and then he comes running. And we've been doing this for a long time, like she said.
All day, like literally, like.
And he comes running, and as he's running towards me, he's like, "I'm just gonna keep going." And I'm like, I don't know what that means, right? I just thought, he's having such a good time. I just want to keep going forever, Johnny. So I don't know. I'm just like, oh, he's just happy. So he goes, and I count 1, 2, 3 steps. I put my hand out. 4, 5, 5.5. He just keeps going up, and I was like, oh, wait a second. He meant straight up the tree. What? How am I supposed? And now he's coming down towards me head first. And he's like a grown man. You know, I can't catch him. Like, first off, it'd be awkward. Right? Our crotches in our faces. I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I did what anybody here would have done. What anybody. Okay. You good, man? You good?
He scratched his pretty face.
He scratched his face. We got cussed out by the producers.
Oh my God, it was so bad. It was like bad. And he was like, did he cry? I felt like he wanted to cry. He was so distraught because that was like the first week of shooting the movie. So if you ever watch the rollerblade scene, you'll notice he's always in the very back because that wasn't him. He's so athletic, he could not rollerblade, and his face was all scratched up. So that, I mean,
if you look close enough in the film, you'll probably see a little bit of something going on.
Yeah, there you go. The moneymaker was ruined.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna move through these last 3. We're running out of time. Come on up.
Totally his fault.
Hi guys.
Hi.
I'm LaShawna from PG County, Maryland.
What up, bro?
And I just want to say to Karan Ashley, you were the first African American female that I grew up on as a child. And I just want to say thank you for being a woman of color that I can see myself on TV. And I just want to say thank you. You were a true inspiration to all of us. And I just want to say thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh. We had no idea. Like, I think we were so excited to be on a TV show, but little did Walter and I know the impact that it would have for people, you know, of color. So thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Go ahead.
Kind of awkward now with that. But speaking of awkward fan interactions, I guess it's similar to Walter and Karen, seeing as you guys are on Cameo. What's been your weirdest request to do on a Cameo?
You know what? It's just I just got one to do a bachelor party on a private island. It was just like we just want you to say what's up to our buddy. His girl doesn't want to be stripper, so we got you. So I was like, all right, man, hey. I didn't do that, but I did talk to them and it was funny. I was like, all right, so your girl, like, Stephanie's like, no stripper, so, you know,
This is how it starts, man. Ball and chain.
I got a really weird request to, this guy sent me this email. I saw my videos on my website, and this guy sent me this long email, and he was like, he was trying to figure out how to ask his girlfriend out. And he's like, this long description about his girl and him and their relationship, and he was like painting a very vivid picture. And he was a little insecure, so he's like, you know, you were the Red Ranger, you were like the jock, the G unit, like you know, I bet you had 1 million girlfriends. Okay, maybe. And he's like, would you be me in a video to show me how I should talk to her? And I was like, is this a life coach lesson?
This is his girlfriend?
This is his girlfriend.
You already got her, like, I don't understand.
But I think he was, I don't want to repeat everything that was in the email, I'm just going to tell you there were some legit insecurities. But he's asking me to step in and coach him on some of these things that are like between two people only. And I was like, you know, I don't really know what to. No, I'm just going to refund you. I can't help you with that.
You could take on Sarah Nundemer, Jack, right?
Mine are clean compared to that. I just have helped people like get married. Like I've been part of proposals. Like they like for us to kind of set it up, and then they, you know, like they play this video, and you're like, oh, he's so great, and he loves you, and da da da. And then I guess at some point he's on his knee and he delivers the. So I did one, and I did it like 3 or 4 times because I really wanted it to be perfect because obviously it was a special moment.
Awesome. Go ahead. Last question.
Yeah, this question is for Austin. I was just wondering what it was like to come back from Beast Morphers.
Beast Morphers was, I mean, I've been pretty picky about any return that I've done. I know there are others that will come back for anything. I try to make sure that the character Jason is
very subtle.
What do you think he's talking about, Johnny?
Anyway, I'm pretty particular when they're going to bring Jason back. I want it to be done right. And they were like, hey, New Zealand, and the executive producer, Chip Lynn, who started as a PA, like he got coffee for people 28 years ago. He'd risen all the way to executive producer, and I mean, like he was the man on the show. And he called me up personally, and they sent me contracts while I was in the Middle East for the war. They're like, hey, would you come film? I'm like, I can't. Are you crazy? And he's like, there's still 2 guys left from back when you filmed that you should, like Sean Tarkenton, who was second unit DP, one of the stunt guys was still there, and Chip. And I was like, wow, I can film in New Zealand. I get to meet these old guys before, you know, they're done. And it was a great time to come back. I would have liked to have had a little more time to prep, but I had a great time coming back. And it kind of reminded me seeing these new guys. I'm like, oh, wow, that's what we at 18, 19, 20, like, they're the noobs, you know, they're the babies on the platform now. And they were having all the same issues we had. Like, nothing had changed at all. So it was a great experience. New Zealand was beautiful. I'm glad I went.
Thank you. That's a great question. Guys, I'm going to take a selfie with you, but a COVID-style selfie. So you guys are in the background. 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you very much.
Well, that's the end of the show. Let me know what you think of the video in the comment section below. Bye.